So we have our page right here. So if I open it up in preview mode, it'll pop up like we designed it. So let's see. So as you can see here, I have 28 days. I have this warning message, and I have a lot of placeholders around the page. So let's start by replacing those placeholders. And as I told you, Lloyd, the action triggers, you find them all over NoCode-X. So you can also have action executed when you open up the page. So when you actually load the page. So the first action that I want to create is let's call it populate the credit header, or populate the welcoming header. So populate welcoming header like that. And what I can do, I have several options to be able to replace those placeholders. Let's talk about them. So these are all title components. And I have functions in my set of functions that I can use to replace placeholders on text and title components. So for example, this will replace a certain placeholder on a title component. So let's try and do this first. So I can go into here, and then I can select which title that I want to replace a placeholder in. And I can see that I have one title that I haven't named correctly. So let me just name it credit title. And then this is probably the other one, consistency title, like that. Voila. And let's choose the welcoming message. And then I have to add in the placeholder that I want to replace, or the name of the placeholder that I want to replace, and the value that I want to replace it with. Now, the name that I've chosen is user first name without the curly brackets. So I can go in here, and then I can say I want to replace the placeholder with user first name. And I want to replace it with Tristan, for example. Let's do it hard-coded for now, and let's test how that works. So I switched it to here. So let's test how that works. So as you can see, it's replaced. Now, of course, you don't want to replace it with hard-coded values. That is stupid, because then you might not replace it anyway. So, but you have to replace it with something on your variable scope. I think I talked about the variable scope last time that we recorded, Lloyd. But the variable scope contains all the values of your action. And your action actually executes several functions, and functions always do the same thing. They read something from the variable scope, do something with that data, and write data back, or write the result of that action on the variable scope for other functions to work with. It's always the same, but in the start of when you're starting up an action, you get some values on your scope for free. And some of these values, the best way to look at them is by hitting this search button right here, so you can view the complete scope. You can see everything that's on your scope. So if the current user is anonymous, you can check that. Or if the current user's email, the current user's first name, last name, and so on. So in this case, we want the first name. So I just hit this button, and then this is being used as a value. I could have just selected it from here as well. That's exactly the same. So I'm gonna just do it again. Choose what you need, and hit this button to use it as a variable. So that's that. And if all goes well, I should be now seeing welcome back, probably Tristan, because probably my name of the user that I'm logged in with is Tristan as well. So let me just find this user right here. And yeah, his first name is Tristan, as you can see. Of course, the other user is as well Tristan. But I will prove that I'm not lying to you, Lloyd, by changing it to last name. So if I now reload the page, then you will see welcome back Van Poeke, which is a whole lot less friendly, but it is the truth. So so let's change it back to first name. What you can do is you can get something like this. Can create a branch, and that's where your action starts to branch. I don't know if we talked about it last time, but let's repeat this because it's a very important thing in action building or logic building. You can have several paths in your action that can be executed based on conditions, and the condition can be if, for example, if, and I'll do it again immediately, a bit slower, if your first name is equal to null, which means if your first name is not filled in. Then I want to do this. In the other case, I want to do something completely different. That can be the case. So the way you set this up is the simplest way to use conditionals is just by clicking on the edge, every edge. It doesn't have to be a branch, and just add conditional, and then choose your left argument. If first name, is your left argument, then you have some operators that you can choose from, and in this case is equal to null. Then this will be executed. But watch out with this. Everything that comes after this won't be executed if your first name is not null. So if you create an action and you put something behind this, like for example, write to the application log, you will see that first of all the placeholder will not replace because my first name is not null, and I will not have anything in my application log. Well, at least not the message that I've written out. So this makes sure that everything after this edge is not being executed unless this conditional is valid. I like to do it where I have a bit more visibility of this is a branch. So I always put a block in between. Now you don't have to necessarily do that, but this is just for me to keep it clear. So let's do something interesting maybe. Let's replace a placeholder on the title component, okay? And let's in the other case, let's put in a complete other message. For example, let me see. We also have set the title on a title component function, which doesn't replace a placeholder, but it just completely changes the title that is being used. So let's change this in hey. For example, are you back again? And let us have this into, for example, first name. If it equals Tristan, then you do something like that. And if it equals something else, which is an else conditional, and you can make as many branches as you want. You can have you can even have your own branch here, Lloyd, if you want to. I can say something if it's Lloyd, Yeah, then we have to do another message. Um, so as you will see, welcome back will not be displayed now, but I'll have, hey Tristan, are you back again? Huh? And I'm not going to change the name of the user right now, but we can do like this, Lloyd, and then it will change back to, hey, welcome back, Tristan. Or I think it was Van Poeken. No, it's still Tristan. So as you can see, you really have the freedom of what is displayed. Now, many people are asking me as well. Can I use logic to change the look and feel of the title? For example, well, we have some really simple things to change the look and feel, simple functions to change the look and feel of some elements in your user interface. Excuse me. But those are far from complete at the moment. We're building them, and more will come. But in the meanwhile, what you can also do is, for example, what I often do actually is I make another field right here. I'm just gonna I'm freewheeling here, Lloyd. I'm putting this in the error message like this. Let's just say this is completely differently designed, and let's call this warning. Like that. Voila. And now, let's say if I am Tristan, actually, if I am Tristan, like this, then I want to not, or maybe I just want to delete this, and then I just want to add a hide an element. So let's show a warning message when it is Tristan that is logged in, and let's show another message, a welcoming message, a warm welcoming message when somebody else is logging in. So the thing that you do is you can hide an element and show an element based on a conditional. So for example, in the condition of when Tristan is entering the application, then I want to hide the warm welcoming message, and I want to show a warning on my application. So let's hide where is the warm welcoming message. Let's just here, welcoming message. I want to hide this one, and then I want to show warning. And of course, I always advise to give every function that you call a name, because you want to know what this function does. Hide element is not descriptive enough. You can call this hide welcoming message, and you can call this show a warning, like this. And then we do this conditional again. So we'll check if the first name equals to Tristan, and the fact that it does will now give us a warning right here, but it will remove the other title as well. So if you come or something has gone wrong, if you come to a point in time where you need to do a different styling because of a condition or a conditional styling, then you're better off with hiding some component and removing some component at some point in time. So let me just quickly try and fix this. I don't know what really happened there. So voila. So as you can see now, I have a warning because, of course, Tristan is logged in to this this thing. So let's get rid of this again. So like that, like that, like that. Voila. And let's continue with the normal message, meaning welcome user first name. Voila. Now, the credits. So, of course, each user needs to have their own credits. And what you can do to do this is, you can create your own data formats in NoCode-X, which is very compatible to the tables of your database. Although data formats are a little bit more than that, even. But this case is really a table. So what we need is somewhere to store the amount of credits that is left in somebody's account. Huh? We probably have other settings that we want to store about somebody's account, right, Lloyd? The consistency, yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's create one. Let's call it user account, for example. We create a table, and then we say there is a property which is called credits, and this is a number. Voila. And then there is a property which is called, but in regards to consistency, Lloyd, you'll probably need which days that they have been consistent. So you need to keep track of each day separately. They log in. Press the play button. Okay. Okay. So let's just leave that open for now. Let's start with the credits, and then we'll have to create another table to track the consistency. I can do it in here, but I think with whatever the retention that is on the consistency data, it might be better to do it in another table. Voila. So we have a user account. And the thing is, you need to link this user account to an actual user in the system. Because I need to know how many credits Tristan has and how many credits Lloyd has. So I can create a new field, and I can call it user email, and I'll just put in the type email like this. And that'll contain the email of the user, because an email address is the unique reference for the users in your application. So that's that. And then I can create some data, and we'll show you in a minute how you can create. I think this is the user, and I'm logged in. I'm not sure, but we'll show you in a minute how you can automatically create this upon registration or something like that. So let's give Tristan 500 credits like this. So that's my piece of data for the user account data table. And then in my welcome header, where I populate my welcome header, I can fetch this piece of data from the database. So, and the way that I do it is, I know there will only be one record returned if I search using the currently logged in user in my database. So I can go in and search one data record. I can, of course, fetch a list as well, but in this case, I know that I will only be finding one data record. So I choose user account as a data format. I add some filters to it, and the only filter that I need is actually the user email filter, and user email should be equal to the currently logged in user. So these are the user accounts. Well, this is the user account data, like this. And then I can actually do the same, replace placeholders on title component, select the element credits title, just gonna check which placeholder that I've used. It was remaining credits. Like this, and I want to replace it with the value that is in user account data payload credits. Why is payload in there? Because user account data has some data that's available to you to use within your logic as well, that is different from the actual data in your database. So it also has the identifier. You don't have to provide an identifier for data in NoCode-X. Every piece of data has an identifier by default. It has a name, a description. It has the identifier of the data format, actually. It has a modification or modified by, a modification date, a created by, and creation date. And then it has the fields that you defined in payload. So in this case, I want to use credits. So if you then reload the page, I will have my welcoming message again, and then I should have 500 credits displayed for me right here. So okay, I need to remove this warning message because it's not being hidden anymore. So let's see what this results in. Voila. I don't have any credits, so let's see why that is. And we go in here, and this is all okay. Then let's write out what we fetch from the database. Like that. And let's see if anything is different from what we expect. It's empty at the moment, so let's see where we did something wrong. It could be that I'm not logged in with Tristan. I'm just gonna check with which email address I am logged in right now. So, although I think I am. But of course, Lloyd. I also have to put in user email right here. So that's the correct email, or I won't be able to link it to the currently logged in user like this. So now it should contain the 500 credits that I have left in my account. So that's that. So I have this welcoming message and I have the credits that I have left in my account. And now let's solve the consistency. So for consistency, we can do the same actually. So we can like keep track of the dates in which a user has been consistent or not. So I think what we need is actually what we need is a listen event like that, and it has one property, date, which is date, and then let's call this list date like that. And of course, it has another property, user email, which is an email like this. Right? So let's save this. Let's just quickly add a button on the home page to make these kinds of elements. So we'll call this listen, and then we'll change that later on. So we'll call this listen to session, listen, because you want the card there, eh? Listen to session. Voila. Now, the way that you create data is also pretty simple. You just use the create date, not you create data function. So this one, drag and drop it into place, connect, and then you give it a name. This name is only meant for you to be able to find it more easily in the database. Is not meant to show it to your users. So listen date. Let's just call it listen date for now, and or listened event like this, and then I can start adding the body or the payload, and I can choose user email. And I can again choose the currently logged in user like that. And then I have to choose some value for date. So I can create I need to create a date. Create a date. So as I mentioned, Lloyd, every function does something with data and puts something on the scope. So this one just creates a date that is of type now, which is actually today. And I say that the name of the variable to put it in is today. And then I can say here, okay, just put today inside my object that I'm creating. So if I now click this button, click, then a piece of data should be created right here. Let's see if it happens. Sometimes it takes a while. Like this, there is a listened event, and this has the date of today right there, and my email address. So the next thing that I can do is I can go in here, and there are two possibilities now, Lloyd. Either I create another template, and inside this template we create all the days, and then we visualize which days that this user has been active or and not. Or and then we have to make another one for 28 days and make one for 7 days. Or we do it all in the homepage. And I always prefer to do it in another template, because then you can reuse this on other pages as well if you want to. The choice is yours. And if you do it in your homepage gets a bit bloated. So I like to keep things small. So maybe we should create like a consistency template for 7. This. And I forgot to put it on a reusable component, but that's not a biggie. So I can just switch it off right here, and then or switch it on right here, and then I can change the width. The width can be 100%, but the height has to be smaller. So like 100 pixels, for example. And this within this page, what we want is actually a horizontal list. Boom. And then we will want to have 100% wide, and we want it to be 100% high as well. And then we want to position it 0, 0. And that's that. We want to get rid of the border, get rid of the background. Like that. And then we also want to have another consistency template. This is a reusable component. So we want a consistent day. And we want to have another one, which we call non-consistent day. And maybe we should call it non-active day, like this. And this one, we should call it active day. Maybe that's better name. Active day, like that. And that's to actually design either a green one or one with just a border. So this will be the non-active days. This is the active day, right? That's how you intended it. So let's do that. So we have our and actually for this we only need like a title right here. We can make it 100% wide, 100% high. You move it here, and then we'll just make sure that this is only like, for example, 50 pixels. 50 pixels, save it like that. Zoom in a bit. We'll put a placeholder here, day, like that. And then we'll say, okay, but this font is not 30 pixels. It's a bit smaller, like 16 pixels, like that. But the line height is 50 pixels because we want to appear in the middle and we also want to center it. So that's that. And then we maybe want to add a little bit of a padding, like that. And then we want to add some border, which is this is an active day. So we don't just want to add a border. We actually want to add a background, and we want to add a primary background. And now I just realized we have to get rid of this padding because this was more than enough. So then we add a rounded corners. So let's take 8 maybe, like this. And well, I guess that's okay to start. And actually what we can do is I'm going to get rid of the non-active day that I created. I'm just going to remove it like that. And then I'm going to copy this one. And then I'm just gonna, the only thing that I have to do then is zoom in a bit and change the background into, well, a transparent background, or I could have just reset it as well and then change the border into a solid border, which is 1 pixel, but which is blue. So then we'll have a border around the non-active days and a background on the active day. So we'll just call this non-active day, save it like this. And then we'll have a consistency template and we'll fill this up with 7 days. So let's see how we can do that. And the thing that we need as well is, of course, the number of day, the day number. So let's like do it like this. So we need a template right here, create a new parameter, and then we'll create it to be text. Okay, like that. And we'll create the non-active day to be text, like that. Day. So we have 2 parameters on non-active, and they're actually the same parameter. So we have our consistency template. So let's go in here. And I think I already have an onload. No, I don't have an onload. So at the moment that this consistency template is loaded, I want to execute something. So I want to start filling it up. So let's call it populate consistency template 7. And from here on, what I want to do is I want to actually call execute another action. And this other action, I will create a new one, and I'll call this populate consistency template, like this. And I want to be able to reuse this for the 28 days one. So that's why I just do it like this. So and this will have a parameter. First of all, it will have the template, which I'm now thinking it could be, does not necessarily have to be a different template as well. So that's perfectly fine. So let's just put it on number, and then let's say amount of days. Like this. And actually, you know what, Lloyd, while I'm building this, I'm thinking about this. Because we don't need a different template, we'll just do it in here. We'll just make sure this gets a number, and this is amount of days, like that. So voila. Okay, and then we first of all we need to find out today. So we actually create another date. We say it's now. That's nothing that we have to worry about. This is start date. And then we want to move back from that date for 7 or 28 days. And for each time we move back, we want to add a template to our horizontal list, right? Are you following me, Lloyd? All right. Yes. And then once we have that, we can check the database, and we can choose to either add the non-active day button or the active day button, based on if the user was active or not. So what we do is we do a for loop. We start off at 0. We end up at amount of days, and we increment by 1. And then we want to execute an action at consistency day, like this, boom. And this action will have actually a date, current date. Yes, and it will also have that is fine for now, I think. Like that. And we can pass in the start date right here. And then I'll have to check if this is okay. Yeah. So okay, so this a for loop. So if you do a for and you attach an action to it, it can automatically retrieve the index of where it is in the for loop. So it retrieves 0, it retrieves 1, it retrieves 2, 3, 4, depending on the amount of days you're on. So the only thing you have to do is you have to define actually a parameter on that for loop, and in this case it's a number, and the name of that parameter is index. That's all you have to do, and then you will receive it. So let's try this out, and let's see what comes out of this for loop. So I just created I write something to the application log, and then this will make sense in a second. So if the only thing that I have to do is I have to put this consistency template on this page. So I'll just add it right here. So like this, and then it'll trigger the onload of that template. So the action should be executed, and I should see something in my application log. I see some credits being thrown about, but I can't see the onload happening yet. So let me just quickly see what is going on here. Let me write something in this log. I can also always do it like this, of course. I'll just create a new test here, execute this test, and probably that's why I can't see it. So yeah, probably because amount of days was null is the reason why I can't see it. So I'll have to go into here and open up. I don't know why this is the wrong template. So I chose. I'll have to remove it and then do it again. And I don't think I had a parameter on this template to actually create to actually pass down the amount of days. So the idea here, Lloyd, because I'm going really fast, so let me explain. So we created this consistency template to be able to show this for 7 days and for 28 days. So this template will show those day cards for 7 days and 28 days. But in order to switch between 7 or 28, you'll have to pass in a certain parameter. And the parameter will contain 7, 28. And if you ever want to also have 5 days, you can then just pass in the number 5 as well, for example. So that will make it flexible for you. But the way that you have to pass in parameters is by creating on your template a parameter which is called amount of days, which then can be inherited by the action that is used in the onload of your template. So populate constancy apparently template. So if you like open this up, as long as you have a parameter with the same name, you inherit the value of that parameter. So so if I pass like 7 to the template, this action will have 7 passed as a value for amount of days as well. So that's the idea. So and why did I quickly test it out using this? This is because this is a very convenient way of testing out your actions. This is also what we are building as a way of keeping your application 100 in a fit state, because this will be in the future we will offer the possibility to automatically execute these actions and automatically assess if your action has the correct results or not. With regards to this, I can call this, for example, a test for 7 days, and I can give this amount of days a value. I can save this test, and then I don't always have to fill in this 7 days right here. So I'll have to choose amount of days, for example, right here, and then you'll see here, the logs that are generated by the action that you execute. And if my action would have output, I would also see a list of the output that this action generates as well. And I can even mark the output that I expect. So if I, for example, expect an output of success, and just a piece of text that is success, I can say, okay, this output should be a success. And if I then execute the test, we check if the output is success or not. And if it is, we show a green icon. And if it's not, we show a red cross, meaning that your test has failed. So something in your logic changed or isn't correct anymore. So voila. So we want to populate the consistency block in the home page. So we want to populate it with 7 days or 28 days. Let's have the default at 7 days, perhaps. And then let's populate it with 7 days, so 7 small blocks of days. So so what we have right now is we added this consistency template right here. This is the template that we added. It's just an empty horizontal list at the moment. And we've added an onload populate consistency or constancy. Let me change this typo right here. Consistency template like this. And what this does is, first of all, it creates a date. And then it writes the amount of days that it should show to the application log. So let's test if this works, and then we can move on. So if we reload this page like this, so now we should be able to see something in the logs, and we see 7. So we get the 7, which is the default amount of days that we want to show. Now I can do two things. Either I can create a list with 7 days in it, or I can just loop from 0 until 6 or 7, depending on how we look at it. I can loop and do something 7 times, and that something I'll be doing is just adding a block to the page for each day that the user is possibly consistent. Does that make sense, Lloyd?
Yeah, so obviously we're going to see the last 7 days, and the ones that they have played the audio will be a different color or format.
Yeah, we can look into that later, but let's first display all the days. And then we can choose to display a different template for a day that they have been active on. So yeah, we'll loop through the days that we want to display, 7 or 28 days. And then for each day, we'll check, has the user been active? Yes or no. If the user has been active, we show one template. If the user has not been active, we'll show another one. But first, let's get this up and running to show every day as if the user was not active. So what we have right here is 7. So that's fine. There are several functions in NoCode that you can use to loop. So to do something for an iterative way, so for X amount of times. One of those things is the for loop. Another function that we have is the for each loop. It really depends. The for loop can be used if you don't have a list of items that you can go through. The for each loop is perfect when you have a list of items. If I would already, for example, have a list of 7 days, some 7 days of data, and I could loop through those to that list, that would be a possibility to use the for each loop. But in this case, let's use the for loop because I don't really have a list of 7 days, or 28 days for that matter. So we'll use a for loop. For loop, you'll have to pass in a start number. This can be 0 or can be 1, whatever you like. You need to add an end number. So in our case, the end number is the amount of days. And then you need to add an amount that you increment every run of this loop. So for example, in my case, it's perfect to be 1. And then it will increment the counter every time it loops and executes the action that we will be linking in a second. And then I'll be able to so that'll run up until when the counter ends up in the end amount, then it'll stop running. That's the idea. So it starts with 0, it increments every time with 1 until it arrives at amount of days, and then it'll stop running. So we'll add another action right here, add consistency day, like this, boom. And the one thing that you have to know, we're making this more automatic, but if you're using a for loop, the index can be automatically, which is the counter actually, the current counter, can be automatically passed through to the action that you're actually calling, as long as you define a value of a parameter that is of type number and that has name in uppercase index. And I will showcase this by logging this index to my application log like this. So I just used write to application log, and I just picked index from the scope right here. And then let's quickly double check the for loop right here. So you can ignore this because it's automatically being passed along. So let's try. I refresh this page and I go back to my application log. And as you can see, we start from 0. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the counter of this log line writes this to the application log. So what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and find if I already have a consistency day template. So I have an active day and a non-active day. Let's open up the non-active day, which is actually just a day. It's actually just a button or a square. So let's add a non-active day to that list. So in add consistency day, we'll just go and add a template component to a vertical list like this. Oh, it's a horizontal list, of course, that we want to add. Oh, let me just put the mic right here. So we have this. We have to select which horizontal list we want to add the consistency day to. I recommend that if you're working with NoCode-X, always name your elements, at least those elements that you're working with in Logic, because it's better to name them a recognizable name instead of like doing like me and keeping the default names. because that'll be confusing in when you're creating logic. So in this case, consistency day list, that's a better name. Choose the element, then choose the template which you want to add to the element. So in my case, for now, we'll add the non-active day. And then I can choose a code for that template. Don't necessarily need one in this case. And I can choose the form group in which those template belongs, to which its template belongs. I don't need that as well. What I do need, however, is I need to pass in the day that we want to show. So let me just quickly pass in index. And that should already make sure that there are several non-active days in my list of days like this. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days that are being shown here. Now it's boiling down to a little bit of styling to make this a bit better. So let's dive in. So first of all, I think I have to recouple this, and then let me retry this. So that's better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We only have 6 because I have to, of course. I thought I had 7 a second ago, didn't I, Lloyd?
You counted 7. Is that because the count starts at 0?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. So I probably miscounted then. So we can have it start at. So it starts at 0. Amount of days is 7. Well, it should be 7, no? Quickly check the logs here because it starts at 0 as well. Something is not showing up, I think. That's the reason, probably because it's 0. So let's just quickly do this then. We can. So it's what was it again, Lloyd? It was the past 7 days, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's then create a date. Create a date. And we want to create the date now minus something. So now minus days, and the amount of days that we want to create is now minus index. And let's just, for testing purposes, let's just pass in date through to this. And let's see what comes out. So that is, so see, I think well, it's hard to notice with this date, but I think we had 7 days and it wasn't showing up because it was 0. So now all we have to do is like format the date. So let's try and do that. So we format the date because we only want to show days. So I pick the date that I've created from my scope, and this will tell me what letters I can use or what code I can use to help me format it. So all you have to do is hover over this information icon right here, and it'll tell you to use Y for years, M for months, Ds for days, and so on. And it has an example. This will result in this. So let's just add DD for this, just like in the example, and then we'll only have the days, the day, for example. And then I'll add this day as a parameter in my consistency day template. Voila. So now I have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Which is very, very coincidental, Lloyd, because we are today the 7th.
Although it should probably be the other way around. Should be in a reverse order. So as in,
Yeah. So what we can do?
Well worked out though.
Let me think how we can do this. I know how we can do this. let me just so an easy trick to do this is just reverse the order in which they are shown. So I can go to my horizontal list right here, can open up items, and I can change the direction, which is normally from left to right to left. And this should change the order in which this is shown. So this is good order, eh? That's a good order. Okay. And with a little bit of luck, if I now go in here and I change this to 28, which could be interesting as well to see how it works. Yeah, okay, they're overlapping at the moment. We'll fix that, but we have much more, and I think that's the correct amount. I think that this is also correct. So let's just let's first fix those issues with the styling. So voilà. So we have this, and then of course this is a blue background. I'm first gonna change. I will first change something that has been bugging me for a while now, because this sticks to the sides. So let me quickly fix this by adding maybe a little bit of a padding here. There is already a padding on this one. Let's open up this container, content consistency container. And then we have, so I'll have to add a padding to this one right here. So let's add 5 pixels, for example, so it doesn't stick to the sides anymore, because that's a bit annoying. And let's also make this template fit to content, and let's also make this one fit to content, which apparently it already is. So let me double check if that is correct. Okay, but it has a minimum size of 200. So let's make that a bit less. That minimum size of 200. Voila. So it nicely adjusts according to the height there is. So that's the first step. So if we reload this page, it should look a bit better. Well, a bit better, not extremely better. So we still have to fix some things. First of all, we want to make sure that they all are in the correct. Probably this is the case. So they're all in the correct inside the border instead of outside of it. And we want to make sure maybe that a non-active day has, instead of a blue border, it should have like a more grayish border, so we can see the actual borders of the days like this. And then we'll still have to, like, for example, check this should not be 100%, it should be fit to content as well. And then the template itself is also best to set it at fit to content, so that it will always use the content to make the correct height. So, and what we now want also is maybe a little bit of a more square day look. So let's change that. In non-active day, we can go ahead and we can select the title. So this is set at 100%. 100%. So what it does, it actually sizes up to 100% of the template. So what we can do is we can change the style of the template to be 50 pixels, fixed 50 pixels. I can see it has already done that. So let me quickly check why it is not being sized to 50 pixels and 50 pixels. Probably because it doesn't have so it's, yeah, probably because it does not have enough room to do so. So what we can do, so the problem that is happening, Lloyd, if you're still following, is is, so we have a horizontal list. We want to show days next to each other, but the horizontal list has some padding. So we can't use this space right here. We can't use this space right here. We can't use this space right here. But we said, okay, every day has to be 50 pixels wide, 50 pixels high. But there is not enough room in the parent container, the horizontal list, to show all the days besides each other. So we start shrinking the elements. So what we can do to help avoid this is we can we can allow the horizontal list to map or to wrap its items to multiple lines. So if we do this, then normally the days should appear in multiple lines, just like this. Now this has some weird results because mainly because we are actually we reversed the order of the days as well. So I think if we put it back to wait, if we put it to right to left and wrap reverse, and then for example do a vertical alignment to the left, I think this might come out a bit better. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's also get rid of the padding a bit. So we have a little bit more room. So like this. So let's put like 5 pixels padding, for example. That's all we really need. That is a bit better, or not, Lloyd?
Yeah, looks. I mean, we could reduce the padding in the day element slightly, and ideally they'd be on one row. I imagine
Okay, let's try and achieve that. Let's try and achieve
that'll work for the 28 days as well, though, won't it? So that will elaborate.
3 on a row for 28 days, of course. Huh?
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I just changed the color of the actual day as well, and then we can also indeed put a little bit less padding, or maybe the thing what you want to make it smaller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just make it 25 pixels by 25 pixels, which now could have a result that we need to pick a smaller font, but that's fine. So let's pick let's start with 8 and we'll see where we get. Okay, is that too small, or is that if we align it correctly?
It's probably a little bit too small.
A little bit too small. Let's make it a bit bigger then. So we'll get back to the font right here. Let's put it at 10 pixels, and of course we also need to change. Maybe let's just try 30 pixels, and let us try 30 pixels by 30 pixels like this, and then let's reload this page. That's okay, or is it still too small?
No, that's good for the moment. I think that's a good starting place.
Okay. Let us maybe I still think there is too much padding to the sides of this horizontal list. So let us also get rid of a little bit more padding, but I don't know why it is, or maybe I should try to horizontally align them as well. That is a bit better, but still there's some padding going on. So let me quickly check where this is coming from. I know where it is coming from. So this horizontal list also has some padding, and that's why it has the. So let's change this to 5 pixels as well. So that's gonna be better. Like this. Okay, and then let us also check this. Let us also change this, that it's consistent. And then maybe we can try and see what comes out with 28 days. Yeah, but yeah, it almost looks like a calendar. I think we can improve a little bit still here.
So it'd be 4 rows of 7, wouldn't it?
Well, it is eight columns, so it should be 7, correct?
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can make it a little bit more wider as well. Maybe we could try 35 so that it'll align nicely in like in 7 columns. And this is 7 columns. And it counts backwards from 28 days actually. Okay. So another thing that we can do right here, and we can, for example, put this default styling of this to like 7 days, or the default on 7 days. Like this, we can just switch this, and then we can make this title, once you click it, make it change this this parameter right here. And if all goes well, it'll change the amount of days that are being used for this. So let's try it. So if we click 28 days, so we have the on click trigger to the button, we add an action. We call this action change consistency days to 28 days. Change consistency days to 28. Then we'll find something, set the parameter of a template component. So that's a template component on my page, which is, of course, I'm bad at naming stuff. So let me just quickly go in to the home page right here, and let's call this the consistency block. Voila. And then we'll change the consistency block to, and the parameter is the amount of days. I have to make sure that this is correct, but let's change it to 28, and let's check if my parameter is correct. Amount of days, that should be correct. So let's test if this will actually switch it to 28 days. So we have 7 days. Now we have not 28 days apparently, but apparently this is being triggered. Something is happening. So let's see what's going on. Voila, set a parameter value like this. Let's write this to the application log as well. Voila. And let us well, let's just write something to the application log, and we'll see if it's being executed or not. 28 days, and let's see. Okay, something is happening, so that's good. Let's maybe try another approach. My screen is, yeah, there it is. So let us try, and because I think I had it envisioned like this. Let us add a new parameter. Let us add a parameter to the home page effect, consistency filter. Let's call it consistency filter. let's add, let's just keep it at this at the moment. And then let us, when you click the 28 days, let us route to the home page with a new parameter. Let's do it like this. Route to the home page, route to the page with a new parameter. So home, this one, consistency filter, and we put it at 28. And so that's fine. And then once we, yeah, I'm just thinking maybe we should like just call this amount of days, and then when we change consistency days to 28, we just pass in amount of days instead of consistency filters. And this should pass, because the name is the same, this should pass this value to the parameter of this template as well. So it should use 7 as a default. And then if we pass it along as a parameter, it should use 28 in this case. So let me try and put this on a small screen. So 28, let's try it. So that's better. Huh? And now I can adjust it to 7. And that'll only get 7. And if I want to be crazy and I can adjust it to 14, it will also work. And then well, this will probably change it to 28. This is not working at the moment, so let me try and change this right here. So it should maybe it's because I'm not forcing it to root, because it's on the same page. It should work. So yeah, let's wait. I'll have to add a route because it doesn't do anything right now, apparently. This is correct action, right? Maybe it didn't save because yeah, we're working on. Hold on, Lloyd. I'll have to check. Yeah, we're up and running. So let me just quickly reload this page. So consistency days to 28. This is fine. This should be 28. I hope this now saves. There it is. So now we have 28 days like this, and now we should only fix this to be a bit bigger. That's all. So let us also maybe, that's good. Okay, let us also maybe have the same link on the home page right here. Hub this, and let's also create an action for this 7 days, change consistency to 7. And here we can add again the parameters that we I don't know if I explained this already, Lloyd. But if you have an action that is being called in a template that has parameters of its own, we will find it, and you will be able to add it easily to your action like this to be able to use it. So But now that I think of it, it was not necessary for this action. So I'll just remove it like this, and then we'll go back to home, and then we'll pass it 7, and then we'll also have to force the route to be completed, and we'll also have to keep in mind that we have to name it correctly. Change consistency to days to 7, like this. Okay, so that'll have me switch between 7 and, well, normally apparently it's not 100% correct yet. 7, I don't know why it's not saying that. So 7 days, 28 days, and there's still something wrong with the sizing. And my mouse now completely broke down, I think. And then we're back to 7 days. So that's okay for now. Let's fix that sizing thing. And that,
So are there all sides of jewelry? So you have a 7 days.
sure, that is also no, but let's do it now. That is a good one. That is a good one. Let's do it now. Wait, what we have to do for this is we have 7 here. You have to add another template to this one. So now we have 2, but that's not a problem. We call it consistency template, and we say the parameter here is 28 days. And then we have 28 days consistency. And I will call this 7 days consistency. That's just another way of doing it. And of course, I'm just thinking out loud here. We'll have to put this to fit to content, I think. Let's just keep it at this for a second, and then let's go dive into this action, which is called when you change the consistency to 7 days. And then we'll just instead of changing the route or routing to, well, we'll still route to another page, I think. That is a possibility of doing it. And then yeah, we'll of course have to force the route, and then we'll have to hide an element. Or we can like for example hide them both by default, but let's just do it like this. We'll just hide it in the action, and the element that we want to hide is the consistency. Is the consistency 7 days button, not this consistency. I think this should have been I mean, this is still template code. Something is wrong with this. I have to fix this. So consistency days 7. This, and then consistency days 28. 7 and 28. We just quickly, and this is still wrong here. This should be, yeah, maybe I should keep it at 28 and rename this one 28 and this, and then it just rename this one to 7 days. Now if I go back here, yeah, that has been renamed. There's something wrong with this code naming. That's good that we're testing it on development, so I can fix it before I do a release. But now it's fine. And then we hide an element. And the one that we want to hide is, in this case, the 28. So we hide the consistency days 28. And we show another element. And the one that I want to show in this case is 7. Like this. And let's see about, of course, I'll have to do the same for this one. So I route to the page and then I hide an element. Hide an element like this. And the one that I want to hide is the 7 days. And then I show an element. And the one that I want to show is 28. 28 days, like this. And then it should also work. Of course, we want to, now we have 2. We want to pick a default one. So, but if I do this, it should work. And it did work. But because it's showing for both, it's showing the 28 days. So let me quickly change this to use a default one, and the default one can be the 7 days. So we'll just hide this. I'll just reset this right here, and then I'll put this at hidden. I'll do this by using the navigator. So content, consistency container, to make sure that I'm hiding a correct one. So I'll just hide, nope, that's the button. Voila. Just hide this one like that. And then, well, let's also put it a minimum size in here, because this bugs me that this is so small. So voila, like this. Or maybe that's better. Okay. And then I think we should have only one now. No, there's still 2 of them. Let's see. Did I hide? I did hide one of them. Let's. Now I have both of them hidden, and they're still there. Yeah, I'm having problems on development right here, because my page is not saving correctly constantly. So that's really annoying. What is it? Amount of days 28. Query selector is not a valid selector. I can try and reload the page, but we're gonna have problems, I think, with this page. Home. Well, open up the navigator. Consistency. See, it's not even appearing anymore. Oh, it is, but it's not showing up. So let me try this. So now we only have 1. I hope we don't run into any more problems. Do we only have 1?
You saw 1 going all the way down.
Oh, I was hiding it on all screens, huh? So I have to hide it here. Yeah, okay, that's my bad. Because we're testing it for small screens, of course. So I hide the 28 consistency days. Now if I find the refresh button, we only have 1, but again, it's not correct, huh? Because yeah, but okay. So now hopefully now we have 7. And because we move to 28, it'll be 28. And then if we move back to 7, it'll be 7 again. And so that's fixed. And now we can actually put, like, instead, we can fix this much more easily, because we can put a height on this of 50 pixels, because we know our days are like with 7 days, you can have them in a block of 7 days all together next to each other. With 28 days, we'll probably have 4 blocks underneath each other. We know that our blocks are 35 pixels high and 35 pixels wide. So if we need 4 blocks, we'll probably need like something like 150 pixels for the height of the 28 days. So let's put it at 150 pixels like this. Reset, and then normally it should resize correctly, and then we can check on how to so it doesn't resize correctly, because probably this is not set correctly, or maybe this is not set correctly. So we still have to figure this out. But in the meanwhile, I think we can start trying to add the active days versus the non-active days. So let me try one more thing here. Let's put the height at auto, and then let's see if this works. No, it doesn't. At least this is shown. I'll have to figure this out, Lloyd, because that's an annoying problem. In the meanwhile, this must be something to do with the fact that this is nested in a lot of containers, and some of them have a grow on it and others don't. I'm guessing that this is the case. So maybe if I like make this grow, and if well, it's a combination of growth and it's a combination of fit to content, because this should not be fit to content. It should only have like 50 pixels height like this. And then if we can fix this, yeah, I can't I should figure it out. And then we'll fix this. So in the meanwhile, I think we can move down to how you can add non-active days versus active days. So that boils down to having a data format that will keep that will actually store the active days of the user. Every time a user has entered the application, you should store the active day of that user, and or entered, or well, not necessarily entered.
That would be no.
For example,
Play button.
yeah, for example. So I think if you click listen, right here, we'll have an active day, correct?
Yeah.
So listen. So I think we already had an event triggered to this one. So listen to the session. Create date. I think we already we created a listened event, and this should be stored in the database like this. So we have several listened events, and for example, this is one for today. Make sense?
Yep.
So that counts as an active day. So if we then So this creates the date and creates the data. Let's maybe also format this date like this before creating it, because we don't really need the hours. We only need the actual day. So let's do it in think this is ISO format. So let's do it year, and then month, and then day, like this. And then we'll just call this active day, and then we'll store active day instead of the date, like this. And if we then click listen, we should have a new listened event in our database. Number 8. So this is today. This is now. And then we should have like the correct date right here. And if we now go down to this template right here, open up consistency template, open up our onload action that populates the consistency template, and then open up so we can get rid of this write to application log. Open up this for loop that actually adds the consistency day. We create our date here today. We also format it, but we formatted it to a day. Let's format it again. So we get rid of this write to application log. We format it again. Voila. And now we format it to year, month, day. And we'll call this consistency or active day, like this. And then we'll actually search for one data record. So we say we want to search our database with a couple of filters, but we know we will only get one result. And the data format that we want to search for is listened events. We want to actually see, is there a listened event on this day? So on the listen date, that equals the day that we want to check. So the active day that we created. So this is maybe a little bit of an explanation. This function fetches one data record from the database according to several filters. And the filters that you put in here, they all, so you can put them in here. Like the best thing that you do is open up the object of the way of adding a list, and then click the add filter to add more filters to the list. And then you choose the attribute which you want to filter on. You choose your operator, which is in our case equal, because it has to be equal. And then you choose the value which you want to use in your check and your filter from the scope, or you put it hard-coded in there. So I'm gonna use this to see if there is any listened events. Now, of course, a listened event contains a listened date and a user email. So I have to add another filter to this, because I don't want to search the records of all users. I want to search the record of the currently authenticated users. So what I do is I add another filter. I open it as an object, and then I say I want to filter on the field user email, and I want it to be equal to the current user.email, which is the currently logged in user email address. So I'll call this found listened event. Why is this listened event? And the idea here is, Lloyd, if we find a listened event for this day, we say it's an active day. If we don't find one, we say it's an inactive day. So the formatting of the date can happen here. That's not a problem. The only thing that has to be branched now is I add a branch. And I can add a conditional to this edge right here. So I'll just click add conditional. And then the conditional that I want to check is found listened event, is it null or is it not null? So is it equal to null or not? So let's first do equal to null. If it's equal to null, I'll treat it as a non-active day because I can't find a listened event in the database. Yeah, I can't find one. And if it's equal to null, I'll just let me just copy this one right here. Let's link this up. Voila. Add a conditional. No, I don't need to add a conditional because I already have my conditional right here. I can just say this is the else branch. So what this actually means is if I cannot find a listened event, I do this. In all other cases, I just do this. That's the idea right here. I'll still have to add the day here, of course. So let me just add the active day string right here. And then I'll apparently also have to select the consistency day list like that. So, and the only thing that still has to be done is in this case, I choose the non-active day template. In this case, we want to choose the active day template because then in this case, we have an active day up and running. And then I'll have to pass in the day again as a parameter, of course, like this. So if all went well and the demo gods please us, we will have an active day and a non-active day. And I can already see it. You can't, or maybe you can, Lloyd. But if I open up like this, you can see that number 7 here has a different look and feel. Because we haven't styled active day template yet, but let's do that now. So we go in active day and we'll just make the background of active day grayish, and then let's choose the same font size that we had for non-active day. Let's choose the color to be primary. Let us also make it 35 to 35 pixels. I think that was the size, right? 35 to 35 pixels.
Yeah.
Let's see how that works out for now, and then we can see what we can change. So that's okay. So that's the active day. If I were to change, like for example, the listened event, let's just cheat really quick. If I were to change this to the 5th, this should come out okay. So then I have an active day on the 5th. I haven't listened to it today. You understand what I'm doing here. Voila. So I will check how we can fix the sizing thing. In the meanwhile, let's move on to the next block, if that's okay for you.